Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. Okay, so let's just look at BTC USD. This is the weekly chart. Obviously, still really bearish. We'll just start marking some levels. This area here, I say area just because it looks like this area was a area of strong support around 30K, 29K. And, you see support all across the board until price breaks through, and it eventually should be pretty strong resistance when price eventually taps it. So that's a key level. It appears that this type of consolidation area, anywhere from this 20 to 17.5K area, has held a support. And currently, as it stands, this swing high set on July 18th has proven to be a key level as well. Because I say that because you see this wick up here, price hasn't been able to close above it over the last 4 weeks. So to me, that's like a pretty key level. This 24.2K area. If you see price close above that on high time frame charts, specifically the weekly, then I think it's highly likely that you see price go back up to this 30K level. But until that time, then you just have to consider this like pretty bearish. It's really important to also to understand the overall context of the market, in the sense that yes, we had a rally from 17K all the way up to like this 25K area, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still like just a bearish rally, in my opinion. This isn't really like, you can't call this bullish by any means. It's not a reversal, in my opinion, as of right now. I still believe that, price is just going to chop around. Now, what could be a potential bottom structure is like, you see like another test again at like this 18K area, maybe like another move up. You see some sort of like double bottom, and then like price just like chops around for the next like several months. At that point, I would be a lot more comfortable calling this like a bottom, because I think that price takes a long time to consolidate after these big moves, and you kind of need to see this accumulation set in. Of course, the last big move down that we saw was March 2020, the COVID V-shaped bottom. Obviously, those were very unusual circumstances with lots of money in the system. I don't personally expect to see something like that happen. Like, I don't personally think that we'll just see like a V-shape and we'll start just like reversing. Now, as I said, I'm not sure if this is the bottom or relatively close to the 17.5K area. Certainly possible, but like I'm still of the opinion that we're going to see these lows ran for sure. The question is if this area around 16K will be the bottom. I'm not sure. I'm still of the opinion that we could see lower prices later on this year, specifically maybe like this like 14K area, 12K if things get really bad. There are a lot of areas lower that look possible. But as of right now, the overall structure of this is still very bearish, in my opinion. The real question is just that if you think that this 16K area, because these lows I suspect will get ran eventually. I don't know how it's going to look like or when, but I do expect see some sort of spike below like 16K or something. And the question is if that is going to be the low, like that 16K area. There seems like too much liquidity right down below this wick, and I'm not really sure if that's going to be the low or not. Now, if it is the low, we see a quick wick below, maybe like a day or two of trading below it, lots of absorption, and then we see like, again, some sort of bottoming structure where you see something like price wick below, goes to 16K, and then it like comes back up, and then you just start to see like lots and lots of chop, and then you see like lots of consolidation for many months. At that point, I think that you would consider this like the low, this would be the bottom. But until that time, as I said, this is still like a very bearish market structure in my opinion. Maybe we see like a short bounce, but like entirely possible we can go to like this 12K area. I'm not calling for it by any means. But what I am calling for is a run of these lows eventually. So I do suspect like the 17.5K area is going to get taken out. I just don't know what or when it's going to look like. But I do think that we'll at least see a wick below there before we see any reversal. If we see something like 16K or something like that, then and like price holds, then and it consolidates for a while, then I personally would think that that would look like a bottom. But again, I think it's best just to play charts week, like day to day, hour to hour. It's best not to think about overall like macro bottoms at this point, just because there's so much uncertain things with regards to macro, global markets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, where are we at right now? This is BTC USD on the daily price. If you've looked at my previous videos, you'll see that price had this type of same structure where you see price consolidate for a while and then it just breaks down. And you just see this over and over and over all throughout the last several months, all this year really. Now, the question really for me was if price had enough strength to make it to the last consolidation area. So if you saw back in May of 2022, price did not have the strength to get all the way back up to the last consolidation area, which was kind of this floor set around maybe, I would say, 37K or so. This is an area that looked like, this short-term bottom. Whereas if you look back in March of 2022, price did in fact have the strength to make this short-term lower high. It had the strength to go all the way up there, hit a lower high, again, at this last consolidation area, kind of right around this 46K area, and then it died after that. So really the question here is, do you think that price has the strength to get up to this 28K area before going back down, or is it going to look similar to this May consolidation area where price just kind of consolidated for a while and then it died down lower, as you can see? So really that's the question you have to ask yourself in terms of like some midterm view, like, is price going to consolidate here around maybe call it 18K, 19K, and then will it reach this last floor price of 29K before dying, or will it just kind of just get crushed from here? Like, is it just gonna sit here and just go back lower and then either bottom here or just even go lower, similar to the idea that I talked about before. So really that's the question you have to ask yourself. I personally was of the opinion that it's going to hit 28K. And that idea right now is currently looking incorrect. But, I'm still of that opinion. I still thought that 28K is going to happen. At a minimum, I do believe that 23K is going to happen, and the reason for that is that this last move was an inefficient move. You can see this move right here. This just had a very steep drop. Nothing similar to like those big liquidation candles we've had in the past, of course, but I do believe that price will fill it out a little bit. We'll see like some sort of grind up, maybe 22.5K and then dump again. But I do believe we'll at least hit this kind of this consolidation area at a minimum. I think it's really important, though, just backtracking a little bit, that you really just take these trading opportunities as they come. Price did make like a 50% move, or not 50, but it's like 45 or something like that percent move from bottom to the top of this current range. That's a really good trading opportunity. I do understand that people are in general are trying to be cautious, and it's obviously really good to be cautious and best to be cautious right now. If you are an active trader, then I do believe that you should try to take advantage of these opportunities as they come. If you're just kind of like a long only type of person who just wants to buy and hold, then I think that I would just probably wait, because I'm not so sure this is the bottom, or coins are in their like overall bottom structure. I do think that there could very well be more downside to come. So DCA is like a fine strategy. I know it gets a lot of hate on Twitter, but I think it's personally a fine strategy to DCA into ETH and BTC, especially at these levels. If you're just a long-term investor, just like DCA is totally fine. It's not the best necessarily for active investors, of course, because there's opportunity costs and what have you. But like I personally DCA like into some long-term positions. I'm okay with it. It's always been a strategy that's kind of worked fine for me. Just because I know that there's a portion of my stack that I know I'll fuck up eventually, like when I'm trading or whatever. So if I do have like a big win, then I'll take some of that money and I'll throw it, like, you know, I'll DCA into some some ETH or something, and then I'll just like throw it into a cold wallet and just let it sit. You know, that's kind of how I've been holding up my wins the last few years, is just throwing a portion of that money into Ethereum or you know, Bitcoin or whatever, and just letting it sit. So I personally think it's an okay strategy, but obviously it depends on your overall time horizon, your investing strategy, et cetera, et cetera. So where are we at right now in the short term? As I said, I'm personally of the opinion that price is going to go to at least 23K. After that period, I honestly have no idea. This is very choppy price action. It's very hard to make really head or tails of where price is going to go. You can maybe make some sort of mark some range of like this kind of maybe bottom here and maybe this top here. Let's see. And really the thing about ranges too is it's really where price respects it. So something like this would make sense to me. Like, you know, probably something like this would make sense. Like, you know, you look at this range and you mark this initial top here, which is usually, you know, like the top of the range, and then this first bottom to bottom of the range. But if this is in fact a range, then you'll see that there's all this price action here hasn't been tapped in a while. So that is probably coming. You know, as I said, I feel pretty confident that like this entire area, these low mid 18Ks and 17Ks, these are going to get tapped eventually. I just don't know what or when it's going to look like. But I feel pretty confident about that. But for now, this is kind of like a range that you're playing. You know, this entire area was just like this top range. Like these are some deviations, and then now you're really looking for kind of like this lower part of the range to get tapped. So, and then obviously you see a lot of interaction too with this EQ, the equilibrium of the range. So yeah, this is like kind of an area, or it's kind of like a way that I'd visualize it personally. Like again, not a clear bullish market structure in my opinion. These aren't clear highs that you've seen. This isn't really clear higher high, higher low. It's just overall just a big range, and just like a lot of consolidation. Personally, to me, this does look like a short-term low forming though. So as I said, I do feel pretty confident that you're going to see at least like 23K, and then, you know, after that, who knows? Maybe like we die down. Maybe we break up higher. I have no idea. But for now, you know, you just play it pretty quick. You be pretty fluid with your overall ideas, and you just make sure that you're willing to change your bias and idea pretty quick in these market conditions. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for the support.